What's up, Rythmia Nation? Dr. Jeff, Chief Medical Officer at Rythmia Life Advancement Center in beautiful Costa Rica. I shaved my head in solidarity for our chef Meg, who's about to have a baby in a couple weeks, her first baby. Hopefully not the first, but you know, Levi, that we wait on that one until a little bit later. Anyway, we love you, Meg, and you're gonna have a great birth. Everything's gonna be cool. And I shaved my head to be like you. Okay, so criteria for success. All right, so what does it really take to get your miracle at Rythmia? You know, we have this ridiculous success rate at Rythmia. And, you know, when I was working at rehabs in Los Angeles, I was the administrative director of Passages Malibu for many years. I was also an intern at a place in Los Angeles called Chabad. It was an Orthodox Jewish rehab, very cool place, run really well. And I also worked at Las Encinas Psychiatric Hospital in Pasadena that had a rehab component to it. And, you know, I was studying all the statistics on rehabs and mental health and anxiety success for people in therapy and depression. And I was looking at all these different numbers, you know, studying them. Like, what was the success rate? You know, usually it's about 12% if people did an inpatient stay. If people just did their work on their own, you know, whether it was 12-step meetings or therapy or groups or outpatient stuff, is about 3 to 5% success rate. So for me, you know, being trained in the Western medical model, that's just what I thought was normal. I was like, all right, you know, so there's not a lot of good success. There's a lot of, you know, there's low numbers. And that's just kind of like, what's up? It's just the way it goes. And then we started getting guests coming here at Rythmia, and they self-report if they received their, what we call miracle. And what that means is, did they get their intentions met? Did they see who they've become? Did they reunite with their soul? And did they heal their heart? And did they get their miracle, which is their intention? And we've had weeks where it's 95% success, 100% success, 92, 96. I mean, it's always in the 90s. Sometimes it's 100%. And I was like, dude, how is this possible? Like, is this going to actually stick with people? You know, is this actually going to, like, they're really excited. You know, they've been here a week, not 30 days, not 60, not 90, but 1 week they've been here. And they're reporting that they got their intention met. So what we decided to do was send out a survey 6 months later to all the alumni. And 95% of the people have said that they're still having the effects of this experience and they're still on track. And then we get letters all the time. You know, I talk to alumni every day, constantly, about how they're doing. And they've shifted, they've changed their life. Things are amazing, right? So there's just like this incredible success rate with what we're doing down here at Rythmia. And I always think to myself, okay, what are the criteria that are going to, like, best suit people for coming here? Because, you know, there's a lot of people that just book their stay and come within a week or less. There's a lot of those people. They haven't had time to prepare, you know, and they haven't time to get ready. And that, you know, it's also okay. But my ideal scenario for you guys, right, if you're thinking about coming down here, is that if you have medication issues, if you're on different psychotropic meds like SSRIs, benzodiazepines, or you're on mood stabilizers, antipsychotics, you have to taper off of those with the help of your medical doctor, your prescribing doctor. The more time you can have off of those, the better. However, usually it's 30 days. Some of the meds, it's about 14. And if you're prepared biologically and medically and neurochemically, this medicine is going to work even better. I get a lot of questions about marijuana. Now, marijuana is a medicine. Some people agree with it and some don't, and that's fine. But THC is a very powerful medicine for people that need it for insomnia and epilepsy, chronic pain, also anxiety, and also other issues. So if that's something that you're using, that's okay. It doesn't contraindicate with the plant medicine. But what's interesting, what I've learned from working here for 5 years, or 3.5, we've been open, but I've been here 5 in Costa Rica. What I've learned is that these plants compete with each other. Some plants are jealous of other plants, right? Dude, what am I? It's crazy, right? No, but what happens is one plant is doing its thing and working on you, and another plant has other objectives and other purposes. And so if you have THC in your body and you're going to do ayahuasca, they're going to kind of compete for your attention and for the things that they're going to be working on. It's not dangerous medically with THC in your system to do plant medicine, ayahuasca. But what I like to just make it so you have a clean slate. If you can do this, have 30 days free of THC before doing ayahuasca. Now, if you have chronic pain and you're miserable, or you can't sleep and you need it because you have insomnia, then that's fine. Then keep taking it. Just keep taking it. And then when you get here, you can't use marijuana in Costa Rica. It's not legal here. Sometimes people think that they have a prescription for it in California or Oregon or wherever. They think they can use it in Costa Rica because they have a prescription. You cannot. Okay, so don't bring it on the plane. Okay, just don't do that. Okay, but THC is a very powerful medicine. It's good. It's good for a lot of things. I'm a big advocate of it. I do not use it myself personally, but I'm a big advocate for it for people that need it medically and for health reasons. So also just to chill. Sometimes people need it just to chill. It's a healthy way to just do that. So we have seen so many people through here, since we started, that we've seen certain patterns and certain things that work really well for the guests before they get here. And some people have been in therapy for a while, and they've had good therapists, and they've worked on their trauma history. They've worked on their depression or all kinds of different stuff. Maybe they're going through a divorce or a separation, and they've been able to process and sort of have clarity on a certain amount of things. We find that that's really helpful for people if they've been able to do that kind of work. Again, there's always the exception. There's people that have done no work, done nothing, and they come here and they have a great experience and they break through and they do amazing. Okay, but what I'm talking about is if you're somebody that's able to prepare a bit, what I'd recommend doing is having a daily practice. Now, a daily practice is something we talk about down here, and we teach people how to do this. A daily practice is something that you do to plug into yourself for 5 minutes a day. We're not asking you to meditate for an hour or two. We're not asking you to do all this crazy, stuff. We all know you're busy. I know you're busy. Meditation, yoga, exercise, spiritual mind treatments, prayer, all this kind of stuff is a spiritual practice or a daily practice. So what we want you to do before you get to Rythmia is, if you have the time, you haven't booked like one day before you get here, is do this as best you can. When you commit to come and do this plant medicine, what you're going to notice, and I have asked yesterday I checked in 52 guests. Today I checked in about 25, and on Saturday I checked in about 20. We're maxed out. We're sold out because we have Michael Beckwith down here. I asked these guests, how was it once you first booked your stay? And they said, what, the weirdest thing happened. I started to have these vivid dreams. I started to feel the energy of the plant medicine. I already was in the process. And that's what we've noticed with people, is that they already start to have the medicine work on them before they even get here. Okay, so if you commit to coming, let's say you're going to come like in 3 months, you're just waiting to, book your stay and put your deposit or whatever. Once you do that, you're going to notice the medicine starts to work on you. It starts to heal you and prepare you for this experience. Now, the beautiful thing about that is that you're open in the moment to receive the healing that you need. And, we all know you guys have been to, tons of doctors and therapists, and you've tried all these different things, and people are frustrated with you. You're frustrated with yourself, and you've tried a lot of different modalities, and you've gone to workshops, you've read books, you've done all this kind of stuff. But the bottom line is you haven't been able to plug into who you are as a person because you've been blocked. And the reason you're blocked is because you're scared. Because when you plug into your ego, you plug into yourself and you block, you realize your ego, that's a scary thing. Because the way you've been thinking your whole life, the way you've been really understanding who you are as a person is being challenged. Because what you show to the world is not always the accurate self of who you deeply are inside. I've talked about this before in my Facebook Lives. Like, what I was showing the world was not who I really was as a person. And I did it in a protective way, in a survival way, and to understand, my environment, to try to not get hurt. And so it serves a purpose. But what happens is when you come to Rythmia and you do this plant medicine, you really get to see what that's about and why you've done that. And you can really plug back into yourself. And then what happens is, oftentimes I talk to guests that have been here, alumni, every day. Every single day I talk to people back home. And some of them are like a few, I'd say maybe 3% are kind of worried. They're like, I don't feel like normal in my job. I don't feel like I'm right with what I'm doing in my life. And that's the reason, is because you've cleared out all of the trauma, and you've cleared out all of the baggage and your liabilities you carried, and you're just developing this new way to look at life. And you need to give yourself some time to settle in and to develop these new tools that you learned, and you're plugged back into yourself. When Jerry did plant medicine, he made a soul contract with his 3-year or 5-year-old self, that he would honor who that was before he split. And the split occurs when we have trauma. It happens to everybody. It's part of life. It's part of what this journey is about. You were born into this life connected. And I have a 4-month-old son. He's connected. He's totally him. He's just him. But there's going to come a point in his life when he's 5, 6, 7, 8. There's something's going to happen, and hopefully it's not something totally crazy, because I'm protecting his ass, right? But hopefully there's something that's going to happen for him, that he's going to split. He's going to think, it's not safe to be me. I need to show this other persona to the world to be safe. And his soul is the same. It's always the same, the soul. But the persona we show the world evolves and changes and morphs and becomes all this different stuff. And what happens with Jerry is that he learned this on plant medicine, and I learned it too. And we both realized that when we were about 5 years old, each of us, it was kind of interesting, we're about the same age, we had to show the world a different side of who we were. And the reason was for self-protection. And we did that in order to get through the chaotic insanity of what we were dealing with in our life. And Jerry, he was being assaulted by his grandfather in a sexual manner. And he talks about this all the time, so it's not some secret. And for me, being raised in a rough neighborhood with a bunch of bad people all around me, I had to have this other persona that I could show that distracted people from my core self. And so what happens then in life as we become older, now I'm not a 5, I'm 50. Damn, am I old, man? I'm old, right? I don't feel old. Okay, but anyway, I'm old. Okay, so I'm 50. When I was 5, I developed this persona, and it evolved my whole life, just who I was and who I thought I was. And I used this as a tool to like get through life and negotiate situations and have relationships and what that meant. And I was this way. People got used to it and understood. But guess what? I was not happy with that. I was not happy. It was not me. It was not me. So I was in denial of myself. And what happened was with plant medicine, I realized, you know what, dude? You don't need to do that anymore. That's not who you are as a person. That's not what you need to be successful. You know, that served you at a time. It served you a long time ago, many years ago. But it's not what you need to do now. What you need to do now is be your real self and be authentic and be who you actually are as a person, because who you are as a person is amazing and is beautiful and is perfect. And we have Michael Beckwith here right now, and that's what he talks about. He talks about you're perfect and you are an amazing individual. But in order to really feel that, right, for yourself, because I could tell you that all day long. I used to tell my patients that in LA. You're an amazing person. You have so many talents. You have so many insights. You're very wise. You're so smart. You know, I used to tell people this all the time, right? My patient, I felt it. I could see it. I could see it in them. They didn't give a crap about what I said. It went over their head because they didn't feel it themselves. It didn't resonate with them. So what's beautiful about plant medicine is it resonates with you. And these things that happen on plant medicine are not rocket science. They're not something that's like so out there, like, oh my gosh, the intricate evolving of the universe has replicated into the fractal dimension. It's not about that. It's about you're a good person. You're full of love. You have an amazing ability in all these different ways. You care about people. You care about yourself. You care about the world. It's like this, it's like very simple. What's going on every night, and tonight's the first night up there at Rythmia for all these guests. We have 96 guests up there. It's very simple what's happening, but it's so profound. It's so deep. It's so amazing. Okay, so the criteria for success is that if you're able to do some work on yourself, if you're able to realize that you have a history of trauma, you've been through a lot, you want to make a shift, you're following the dieta. Now the dieta, it's funny because like dieta sounds like a diet, right? Because I grew up in Los Angeles where we all speak Spanish. Dieta, diet. Okay, what's the diet? What's it about food? No, it's not only about food. Okay, it's about a philosophy. It's all the activities that you do that will help you be prepared for the plant medicine. It has to do with behavior, it has to do with food, it has to do with sleep, it has to do with like amount of water you drink. Clean living. Clean living is the dieta, in a way of behaving that helps you prepare yourself for the plant medicine. Because if you're blocking and you're resistant to the plant medicine, well then you're just gonna you're not gonna get everything you need. You're gonna be blocked. You can fight it. You can actually fight this thing. You can. If you drink maybe a gallon, you probably won't be able to fight it, but we're not giving you a gallon. We're giving you enough that you can work with and you can use it to help you. And this plant medicine is talking to you. It's trying to get you to be back on board with yourself and the world and the nature that is all around you. It's trying to get you back in sort of just like plugged into like what's going on with the world. And that's why I don't even watch the news anymore. I used to watch the news in the morning, turn on the news. It's just unbelievable. The amount of unplugged vibes that are going on around right now in the world. People are unplugged. They're just unplugged from themselves. Do you think you're going to plug into other people and connect with other people when you're unplugged from yourself? It's not going to happen. You can't connect with somebody if you're not connected to yourself. You have to connect to yourself first. That's how things change. You plug into you can plug into other people. When you plug into other people, you can feel their energy. You can feel who they are as individuals. And if you feel who somebody is, you can feel somebody. You don't want to feel them being hurt. You don't want to feel them being upset. You don't want to feel them being traumatized or disadvantaged. You don't, because you're feeling it. Like, you don't want to feel that. You want to feel them being empowered and strong and healthy and happy and grounded, right? So the only way to do that is if you plug into yourself. Okay, so the criteria for success: follow the dieta, do work on yourself, taper off your meds, work with your medical doctor, let the medicine work on you before you even get here, right? And follow the eating plan that we send you when you book your stay. And try to do that as best you can. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect, but you just try, you do what you can, and you follow that plan. So I've had some guests recently, that felt that they didn't deserve healing. They didn't deserve healing. They didn't have the self-esteem that they felt that they could get what they needed from the plant medicine, because they felt that they were not worthy of it. And I met with them, during the week, and I would say, like, why do you think that? Why do you think you don't deserve to be happy? And why do you think that you don't feel that you're somebody that, like, are you so evil? Are you so bad as a person that you don't deserve healing and to be happy? And it often stems from childhood, where they had parents or caregivers that were either unavailable emotionally, didn't meet their needs psychologically, or made them feel less than, or dismissed them as individuals, or whatever. There's a lot of reasons. Maybe there's abuse, often abuse or abandonment. And what I would talk to these guests about during those times is I would say, look, that was a long time ago. That was like when you were a kid. You were probably 5 years old or 6 or 7. And there was all kinds of weird circumstances surrounding that. Your parents were stressed out, and your parents were probably very young, and they were naive too. And they were just people with flaws. They're trying to do their best, and that's not the reality of now. That is not the reality of now. So why are we going to let the circumstances of our emotional upbringing affect us now, 40 years later, 30 years later, 50 years later? Once you sort of like click into that intellectually at first, I'm just asking for it intellectually. I'm not asking for it emotionally, because that's asking a lot just with a talk. I'm asking for it intellectually. You deserve to be happy because you're a good person and you're trying to be a human. And you're trying to evolve and get this behind you. Is if you can realize that about yourself, right? That you intellectually deserve to be happy. That is huge. That is a huge thing. You don't need to feel it completely. You don't need to trust in it completely. You don't need to be vulnerable in that. You don't have to do all that, because that's scary, and that takes some more work, right? The emotional side of that. But if you can intellectually understand that you deserve to be happy, you deserve to be successful, you deserve to be an individual who is a nice person, and that you're worthy of these nice things, that's a huge step. So I would recommend to all you guys that are considering coming to Rythmia that you work on this just a bit. You do what you can. You get here with the work you've done. The plant medicine will meet you there. It'll take you to the next level. It'll take you to the next level. I've seen it almost 6,000 times. We've only been open 3.5 years. I've seen this almost 6,000 times. It works. It works. The reason I left UCLA Medical Center, Passages Rehab in Malibu, Los Encinas Psychiatric Hospital, private practice in Los Angeles, Department of Health in Hawaii, doing research with the Pacific Institute for Women's Health. The reason I left all this stuff is because this works, and I've seen it. I see it every single week. So if you don't trust me, because I work here, so it's kind of hard to trust a dude that works at the place, right? Like, I just could be conning you, right? Okay, so if you don't trust me, go to TripAdvisor, go to Google reviews, look at what our alumni say. We have 800 reviews on TripAdvisor. 5 stars. all of them, except for maybe one or two that are like 3 stars. Okay, we have an amazing record of success. Come down to Rythmia, get yourself in check. I'm excited, because this is like not even work. This is super fun, what we're doing down here, because we're helping people plug into themselves and get healed. And we have shamanic staff, we have holistic staff, we have medical staff. I'm the science guy. I'm the guy that's going to bring a reality sort of vibe to this whole thing. So we have a nice balance of people that understand the spiritual realm, the emotional realm, the practical realm, and I have the medical realm, the psychological realm. We all work together to help you sort of understand what's happening for you, right? When you come here, you're part of the family. You're part of our crew. We stay in contact with you. And a lot of these guests come back because they like the sense of community that they get. And they love the staff. What everybody says unanimously is that the staff is amazing. And I can't say enough about the Costa Ricans and the few non-Costa Ricans that we have working here. The staff is freaking beyond. If you've ever been to like a really ridiculous resort, Four Seasons or some really crazy place that has like, the most amazing service, these guys blow that away because they actually care about you. They care about your process. They actually have a lot of love for you. And you're going to feel that when you get here. It's going to help you relax and settle in and do the work. Because if you don't feel safe, you can't do the work. My whole mission in life is to make Rythmia a safe place, emotionally safe, so you can go deep. You can unwind. And that's the key, right? You got to go deep. Let's do this. All right, you guys. Pura vida. Dr. Jeff, Meg, this is for you. You're going to have a baby in a couple weeks. You shave your head. I shave mine. Solidarity for Meg. You'll be a good mom. All right, you guys. Love you guys. Take care. See you next Monday. Pura vida.